The Isle of Man is an island located in the Irish Sea between England and Ireland. It's home to the most dangerous Isle of Man TT race in the world, a notorious smuggling island, where the Manx cat breed originates. It even has the grave of a vampire. Measuring only 33 miles long and 13 miles wide, it's not a large island, but with 40% of its land area uninhabited, it feels much more spacious and wilder. This intriguing island not only boasts beautiful natural landscapes, but also harbors many strange facts. Let's explore 19 weird facts about the Isle of Man, the peculiar island that's part of the British Isles but not England. 19. The most notorious smuggling island in Europe. This small island in the Irish Sea has a rich history of smuggling, dating back to the 15th century and throughout the 16th century. It smuggled everything from spirits and tobacco to firearms, and even humans. The Isle of Man is considered a hub for smugglers. In fact, it's so notorious that it's called the smuggler's paradise. The rugged coastline of the island and hidden small coves make it a perfect spot for smugglers to bring their illicit goods ashore. The most notorious smuggler on the island was a man named William Kennel, also known as Captain Minks. It's believed he made a fortune smuggling goods between the Isle of Man and mainland Britain. The Westminster government attempted to legislate against smuggling activities on the Isle of Man by passing the Smuggling Act in 1765. What do you think about this interesting fact? Leave a comment to let me know. 18. No national speed limit. Any speed enthusiasts here? Let me know in the comments. Anyone who loves speed will surely enjoy visiting the Isle of Man. Not only is it home to the most dangerous motorcycle race in the world, but it also has no speed limits outside towns and built-up areas. Of course, there's quite a debate around this issue. This law can be dangerous on some roads, but overall people tend not to drive too fast. What do you think about this? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. In the Isle of Man, a very familiar dish you'll find in restaurants all over is chips, cheese, and gravy. It's delicious, but it's not officially a traditional dish of the island. The true national dish of the Isle of Man is Queenie's or Queen's scallops, as voted by the locals and visitors. Additionally, according to tradition, the real national dish is Praz and Heron, consisting of boiled potatoes and another common dish of the Manx people, smoked herring with onions and butter. The Isle of Man is a unique island located in the Irish Sea, and it's not part of the United Kingdom or the European Union but rather a self-governing British Crown dependency. Despite being a Crown dependency of the British monarchy, meaning nominally under the sovereignty of the United Kingdom, it remains politically separate from the UK, except in matters of defense and foreign affairs. This island has its own parliament and legal system. The Isle of Man is renowned as a low-tax financial center, as there are no taxes on earned income, inherited wealth, or corporate taxes. The Isle of Man TT is considered one of the most dangerous motorcycle races in the world. It's the most intense race on the planet, among nerve-wracking riders, with a record-breaking average speed of over 200 kilometers per hour. The first tourist trophy race was held in 1907, covering a distance of 15 miles. In 1911, the racetrack was extended to nearly 61 kilometers around the Snaefell mountain area, and it's still used today. Every year, public roads are closed for 2 weeks to serve as racetracks for the Isle of Man TT. Despite criticism and the higher danger level than any other race in the world, the Isle of Man Tourist Trophy continues. Although this event has caused countless deaths, the death-defying race among men is still an ongoing story. Riders participating push the speed limit, with a total of 6 races covering 365 kilometers, including 264 corners, stone walls, utility poles, and residential houses. Things not found in MotoGP or Formula 1 appear at the Isle of Man TT, challenging the courage and skill of bikers. A minor mistake can cost them dearly, leading to severe injuries or even death. What do you think about this dangerous race on this island? Comment, and let me know your thoughts. This is perhaps one of the most intriguing facts about the Isle of Man. No one really knows the true history of this grave in Mallew, or why the burial site is surrounded by 4 iron posts strung with chains since the 1850s. All that is known is that this grave belongs to Matthew Hassel and his wife Margaret, who is buried alongside him. The two lived a relatively peaceful life without much attention from others. However, everything changed when Matthew decided to end his life in a mysterious way. He showed no signs of despair or any trouble. He just decided one day to end it all. At that time, this was considered an unforgivable sin, accompanied by a vow of eternal damnation. While Matthew Hassel lay in his coffin and family and friends mourned his loss, suddenly, his body sat up and let out a loud groan. Everyone present panicked. Ancient superstitions quickly led people to conclude that Matthew Hassel must be a vampire. Before burying him, a sharp wooden stake was driven through Hassel's heart to ensure he stayed in his grave. 4 iron posts were placed at the 4 corners of the grave, with heavy iron chains wrapped around. 13. Manx cats have no tails. Have you ever seen a cat without a tail? Let me know in the comments, because that might be a Manx cat. This breed also has large hind legs and a round head, but notably lacks a tail, unlike other cats. Isle of Man's cats are adorable and resemble the British Shorthair breed quite closely. Their hind legs are longer than their front legs and they walk like rabbits. Manx cats come in all colors and patterns, though entirely white-furred cats are very rare, and primitive furred cats are even rarer. The reason for this breed's lack of a tail is believed to be due to a strange outbreak of disease in the 1930s, where the cats on the island were afflicted with a mysterious illness, leading to a decrease of over half the cat population on the Isle of Man. The surviving cats, through inbreeding during the epidemic, along with the disease's residual effects, resulted in subsequent generations being tailless. Additionally, Manx cats are highly regarded as skilled hunters, and are often sought after by farmers to address rodent issues. They are also favored as ship cats. Today, Manx cats are among the 8 most famous cat breeds globally, and Isle of Man cat coins are some of the most popular commemorative metal coins worldwide. 12. Unique beliefs of the islanders. With centuries-old traditions, stories, myths, and beliefs, Manx culture contains intriguing customs intertwined with daily life. The people here hold many ancient beliefs. The oddity of this culture dates back many centuries when sailors believed that naming a creature at sea was bad luck. Alongside that, islanders also believe in fairies, mischievous little people. So, when you cross the A5 road from Douglas to Castletown on the Isle of Man, be sure to say hello fairies, or even better, Mogri me meaning good morning fairies, Faster me meaning good afternoon fairies, or OAV meaning good night fairies. Forgetting to greet these bold mythological creatures can lead to unexpected consequences when you're on the Isle of Man, so don't risk it. 11. There is a magnetic hill on the Isle of Man. If you're looking for something interesting and quirky to do on the Isle of Man, try visiting the Magnetic Hill on Ronag Road. When you get there, drive up the hill until you see the marked stone. At this point, put your car in neutral and release the handbrake. Surprisingly, your car will seem to roll uphill. This is just an optical illusion, the result of a visual trick, but it's still a fun and curious experience for visitors. 10. The native language of the Isle of Man is called Manx. Manx is a Gaelic language similar to some varieties of Irish Gaelic. The last native speaker of Manx, Ned Madrell, passed away in 1974, but efforts have been made to revive the language. Nowadays, only 2% of the population speaks Manx, making it quite a challenging miracle. The Manx language has its roots in the Gaelic languages of Scotland and Ireland, believed to have been brought to the island by the Celts around the 5th century AD. The 19th and 20th centuries saw a serious decline in the use of Manx, with residents increasingly considering it an outdated language. In the 1960s and 1970s, those who spoke Manx were even thrown out of bars. In the 1990s, there was a generation strongly opposed to the language. However, there is now a center for its revival called Bunscoil Gaelgog, where teaching and learning are conducted entirely in Manx. 9. There are many unique festivals throughout the year. The Isle of Man hosts numerous unique festivals throughout the year. No matter the season, the people of the Isle of Man have plenty of distinctive ways to celebrate, from ancient traditions passed down through generations to modern festivals. One such festival is Hop tu Na, which takes place on October 31st. The Isle of Man celebrates Hop tu Na, a Manx festival equivalent to Halloween. You'll see people decorating turnips, singing traditional folk songs in English or Manx and dancing around. There are even superstitions based on Celtic beliefs about this special day, reminding us of its origins and the stories of a witch named Ginny. Another festival is called Oivaldin, which means the Night of May. This marks the return of summer after the long, dark winter months. The May Day Fire Festival, or Oivaldin in Manx, is a day to remember and recount the ancient customs of the Manx and Norse people. Music, dancing, and activities take place throughout the day. Visitors can also participate in the World Championship Viking longboat races. Since 1963, the World Championship Viking longboat races have been an annual event in Peel Harbour on the Isle of Man. In July, 10 rowers compete in a timed 400-meter race in Peel Harbour. From cash prizes to the prestigious title of Viking Longboat Champion, it's an event that everyone enjoys. Have you been interested in any festivals on the Isle of Man or participated in any before? Feel free to share your thoughts below. 8. The Isle of Man has a rare breed of sheep. On the Isle of Man there is a native breed of sheep called the Manx Lotan. This breed is unique because it has 4 giant horns and is extremely rare, with at one point only 43 individuals left in the world. The Manx Lotan sheep are the closest surviving breed living on the Isle of Man. The Manx Lotan is a small sheep with a dark brown face and legs. It has a short tail and a good bone structure. Manx Lotan usually have 4 horns, but individuals with 2 or 6 horns have also been found. The horns are usually small in sheep but larger and stronger in rams. An adult female weighs about 40 kilograms, and a flock is about 1/3 larger in size. Despite their size, their meat is a delicacy to the Manx people. With only 2 main farms on the island producing the meat, it is highly sought after by food enthusiasts. The wool of the Manx Lotan is soft and dark brown. Interestingly, the people of the Isle of Man also turn their wool into soap. Manx Lotan soap. How strange is that, right? 7. Home to the world's largest water wheel. The Laxey Wheel is considered the most iconic landmark of the Isle of Man. With a diameter of 72 feet and 6 inches and 96 steps to the top, the wheel is named Lady Isabella and is the largest working water wheel in the world. The Laxey Wheel dates back to the Victorian era, built in 1854 to pump water from the Laxey mine. Today, you can climb to the top to admire it, and you'll be rewarded with a breathtaking panoramic view of the Laxey Valley. 6. A flag with a peculiar symbol. The flag of the Isle of Man has a rather peculiar shape, featuring a symbol of 3 armored legs with spurred horse and golden link joints on a red background. This symbol is called a triskelion. It originates from the Manx culture, dating back thousands of years, and by 1932 it was adopted for the flag of the Isle of Man. However, it's still unclear why it is used on the national flag. It is known that the 3 legs radiating from the center are an ancient symbol used by many. Before this design was adopted, the Isle of Man used the official flag of the United Kingdom. 5. The Isle of Man has few tourists. The Isle of Man is only 265 miles from London, with a population of about 85,000 people. Tourists visiting this place numbered just over 300,000 in 2018. While certainly not a small number, it pales in comparison to around 2.4 million visitors to the Isle of Wight, an island only 2/3 the size of the Isle of Man. The Celts were the first settlers on the island, followed by the conquering footsteps of the Vikings, who ultimately established the Kingdom of the Isles, consisting of islands scattered off the coast of western Scotland. In 1266, the Treaty of Perth between Norway and Scotland officially recognized the Isle of Man as part of Scotland's sovereignty, leading to nearly a century of tug-of-war between England and Scotland, until the English finally emerged victorious. Do any of you here love archaeology and history? Comment and let me know. You must visit the Isle of Man at least once because it is a place where many remarkable archaeological sites have been unearthed. In an excavation at Peel Castle in the 1980s, archaeologists made discoveries dating back over 8,000 years, making it the most significant archaeological excavation on the Isle of Man. However, one of the most notable finds is the burial site of the pagan lady. The grave, dating back to 950 AD, suggests that the woman inside may have been a sorceress or some kind of witch. Additionally, inside this tomb lies a non-local garment adorned with fur, currently on display in the Manx Museum, along with other treasures such as ancient coins and ornaments. This woman's tomb on the Isle of Man turned out to be the richest Viking female grave found outside of Scandinavia. The Isle of Man has a strong British influence, but it does so in a classically cozy way. In the town of St. John's on a small hill named Tynwald Hill, it is considered the most powerful legislative site in continuous use in the world. The first Tynwald assembly is believed to have taken place in 979 AD, organized by the Vikings. Since then, it has formed a rudimentary parliamentary governance about 236 years before England first established a legislative body. Today, from the 5th to the 7th of every year, the Tynwald Parliament of the Isle of Man still holds its session on the 35-meter-tall grassy Tynwald Hill, where the Manx flag with its striking three-legged emblem flies. It is also Tynwald that has allowed this island to do things differently from its neighboring countries, such as allowing women to vote in national elections since 1881, when no other nation had such a law. What do you think about this location? Feel free to leave a comment and share your thoughts. Are there any Bee Gees fans here? Comment and let me know. Do you think they are Australian? The truth is no, the Bee Gees are entirely Manx, with Maurice, Robin and Barry all born on the Isle of Man. Their family later moved to Australia, but their roots are from the Isle of Man. The island is extremely proud of the Bee Gees, and recently a monument was erected to honor the band. Some other notable figures from the Isle of Man include Mark Cavendish and Neil Bennett. Additionally, Norman Wisdom also loved this island and moved here to live in the 1980s. In 2016, the Isle of Man became not only a UNESCO-recognized biosphere reserve, but also the only country in the world to be awarded that title. Pretty impressive, right? The Isle of Man has a unique beauty, both in terms of its rich flora and fauna, and its cultural heritage, and importantly, its closely knit community. The Isle of Man is truly a wonderful place for both people and nature. This recognition means that UNESCO acknowledges the Isle of Man as a place where nature and humans coexist harmoniously. Not only the culture and economy but also the environment and wildlife of this country are protected. That's why the waters of the Isle of Man attract a variety of marine life such as seals, dolphins, and sharks. Additionally, the Isle of Man has the cleanest drinking water and the cleanest air to breathe in the world. What do you think about this? Would you like to visit the Isle of Man? Leave a comment sharing your thoughts below. We've explored 19 strange facts about the Isle of Man, but most of all, the Isle of Man is not the only place with the strangest truths. We invite you to follow us and continue to visit Armenia. This place will really surprise you. The truth about life in Armenia includes 15 strange things you won't believe exist, the oldest structures in the world, insane customs, and the most beautiful women on the planet, among the many unique things that the small country of Armenia holds. Join me for the next few minutes of today's video and I'll show you 15 strange things in Armenia that you won't believe are real. If you're a man, then it's really unfortunate for you if you haven't been to Armenia to see with your own eyes the most beautiful women in the world. In a 2019 survey, Armenia surpassed Brazil to become the country with the most attractive women in the world. Armenian women are described as goddesses. They have sharp features and hourglass figures with incredibly hot curves. Tourists claim to be mesmerized by their flawless, honey-like skin, seductive figures, and elegant faces that everyone wants to gaze at forever. Armenia is a mountainous country nestled within the landlocked region bordering Turkey and Iran. Being a nation with economic challenges, Armenian men often work abroad, leaving Armenian women to handle everything at home, as well as engage in businesses, livestock farming, and child-rearing. They are truly remarkable women that any man would want to live with. However, Armenian women often only marry men within the country and rarely enter into relationships or marriages with foreigners. In an ancient country like Armenia, witnessing strange customs and rituals is quite common. One of the strangest customs of the Armenian people is fasting to welcome the new year. Similar to other Eastern Orthodox countries, Armenians celebrate Christmas on January 7th. The traditional Christmas dinner of Armenians includes gapa, a special pumpkin dish eaten only on Christmas and other special occasions. The pumpkin is stuffed with rice, dried fruits, nuts, and honey before being roasted to perfection. However, in the northern part of the country, most people choose to fast for a week before Christmas. They then have a light meal on Christmas Eve called ketum, consisting of rice, fish, lentils, yogurt soup, various nuts, and a dessert of grape jelly. Their intention is to have the cleanest body possible in the first moments of the new year, and the first foods they consume in the new year are made from products believed to bring good luck. However, many people have become exhausted and suffered serious health declines during the fasting process, and nowadays this custom is gradually being abandoned by the younger generation. It's hard to believe that a country with such a small area as 29,000 square kilometers is one of the 6 oldest countries on this planet. Armenia, along with Iran, China, Greece, Egypt, and Japan, is one of the 6 oldest countries to have existed for thousands of years. The first state of Armenia was established in 860 BC, and by the 6th century BC, it was replaced by the satrapy of Armenia. Many wonder how such a small country could survive for thousands of years without being conquered by larger powers. To answer this question, you have to look back at Armenia's past. Greater Armenia, once an ancient kingdom, appeared during this time. At its height, its territory stretched from the Mediterranean Sea to the Caspian Sea and was caught between 2 of the most powerful forces of the time, the Roman Empire and the Persian Empire. However, Armenia still managed to maintain its position as an independent kingdom for over 500 years, from 190 BC to 387 AD. Afterwards, under the ambitions of territorial expansion and influence from both Persia and Rome, Armenia had to become a vassal of one or the other, depending on the time. Until 428 AD, the key point here is the will of both Rome and Persia. After fierce clashes between these two giants, both ultimately wanted to establish a buffer zone between themselves and their greatest enemy. This is why Armenia has survived until now without turning into a territory of the surrounding powerful nations. 12. The first country to adopt Christianity. If you didn't know, Armenia is actually the first country to officially adopt Christianity as its state religion in the year 301 AD. Amidst long-standing political competition in the region, Armenia accepted Christianity as its state religion, and established a church that exists independently to this day from both the Catholic and Eastern Orthodox churches. The Armenian Apostolic Church is part of the Eastern Orthodox community and should not be confused with the Eastern Orthodox Church. The first Christian of the Armenian Church was Saint Gregory, who was given the title the Illuminator because he enlightened the spirit of the Armenians by introducing Christianity to them. Before that, the dominant religion of the Armenians was Zoroastrianism. It seems that the conversion of Armenia to Christianity under King Tiridates III was partly to resist the assassins. 11. The first church in the world. You might be a devout Christian, but you may not yet know that the first church in the world was built in this tiny country of Armenia, not in the Holy Lands. The Etchmiadzin Cathedral is the first official church built in the 4th century. The first Catholicos, Gregory the Illuminator, dreamed of the Lord descending from heaven with a fiery hammer in hand, showing him the location to build the church in 303 AD, at the site of a former pagan temple. The church, established at that location, is called Etchmiadzin, meaning the descent of the only begotten. The spear that the Roman soldier Longinus pierced Jesus with is kept in the Etchmiadzin Cathedral. Since 2000, the church has been on the UNESCO World Heritage List. If you come to Armenia, don't forget to visit this church and witness the spear that pierced the body of Christ with your own eyes. 10. The most advanced alphabet in the world. Armenia may not have been a prominent country in education for hundreds of years, but the fact is that it owns the most advanced alphabet in the world today. The Armenian alphabet was created in 405 to 406 AD by a scholar and monk named Mesrop Mashtots. It developed from the ancient Armenian script, consisting of 28 characters that did not correspond to the sounds of the Armenian language. Mashtots' alphabet includes 36 characters, 7 vowels, and 29 consonants. 2 more characters appeared in the 12th century, and in 1940, through the merger of 2 existing characters, a 3rd character appeared in the alphabet. Scientists consider the Armenian alphabet to be one of the 3 most advanced alphabets in the world, along with the Georgian and Korean alphabets. Mesrop Mashtots also created the Georgian and Albanian alphabets. For over 1,600 years, the Armenian alphabet has remained almost unchanged. The monument to the Armenian alphabet and its creator, Mesrop Mashtots, is located in the village of Ararat, on the slopes of Mount Aragats. 9. Baking bread by putting the baker in the oven. Traditional foods of different countries, whether sophisticated or simple, undoubtedly have interesting aspects in their flavors or methods of preparation. A prime example is lavash bread, a long-standing handmade bread of the Republic of Armenia. Made with only flour as its ingredient, the unique technique of making it has turned lavash into an icon of the country's cuisine. Lavash is a thin bread made primarily from flour, water, and salt. When the dough reaches the desired elasticity, the baker rolls it out thinly on a flat surface, gradually creating thin, flat breads. However, before they can be placed in the oven, they must undergo a skillful dough dance to create a smooth and even dough for the bread. The interesting thing in the process of making lavash bread is the oven. For the bread to bake evenly, the oven must be large and deep. The most unique aspect is that the bread is not baked on a tray like usual, but must be placed on the walls of the oven. Perhaps this traditional method helps the bread receive heat evenly from the oven and prevents it from burning around the edges. Witnessing the bread baking process here will surely make you gasp in amazement when you see the baker suddenly jump into the oven. In reality, they are placing the dough inside, but this technique must be truly skillful and quick. The slipping could result in the person being baked along with the bread, which is very dangerous. But thanks to this peculiar way of making bread, lavash has been included in UNESCO's World Heritage List. Look down at the shoes you're wearing and guess where they came from and how long ago they were made. There is no specific evidence, but the oldest known shoes have been found in Armenia. Believe it or not, they are 5,500 years old. In 2008, scientists found what is believed to be the oldest shoes in the world. These approximately 5,500-year-old shoes were found under a layer of sheep dung in a cave in Armenia. The shoes were made of cowhide, and scientists believe their age exceeds that of fossils and the Egyptian pyramids. Inside the shoes is a layer of grass used to keep the feet warm and to shape the shoes, similar to a modern shoe insole. Like the shoes of Native Americans, these shoes were made from a single piece of cowhide. The piece of cowhide was wrapped around the foot, and a leather cord was used to sew the front and back of the shoe through corresponding holes. The shoes were crafted and shaped to fit the direction of the foot, especially around the heel, which bears the highest force. Although the shoes look quite small and fit the foot size of a woman, a man of that time could also wear these shoes. Mount Ararat in the Bible. You've probably heard of Noah's Ark, and you've likely heard that Noah landed on Mount Ararat. But did you know that a small country like Armenia is the home of this legendary mountain? Mount Ararat is depicted on the national emblem of the country. According to legend, Noah landed on Mount Ararat on his ark after the Great Flood. The ark rested in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, upon the mountains of Ararat. This mountain serves as a sacred landmark for the Christian community worldwide, and specifically for the Armenian people. It has become a national symbol of Armenia, known as the Holy Mountain of the Armenian people, playing a significant role in the spiritual life and artistic culture of its inhabitants. This mountain, along with Noah's Ark, is prominently displayed on the coat of arms of Armenia. The first attempts to conquer this sacred mountain occurred quite early, around the end of the Middle Ages, but all failed due to various reasons until 1829, when Friedrich Parrot and Khokrovian, along with 4 other companions, became the first to successfully conquer this mountain. It's a fact that most Armenians know how to play chess, and they are indeed a chess superpower. Chess has been known in Armenia since the 9th century, and Soviet-Armenian chess player Tigran Petrosyan was the world chess champion from 1963 to 1969. In modern Armenia, starting from 2011, chess has been taught as a mandatory subject in schools from the 1st grade. Chess classes contribute to the intellectual development of children, teaching them flexible and creative thinking. Armenia aims for its teaching methods to become one of the best in the world. Armenian President Sergei Sargsyan is the chairman of the Armenian Chess Federation. In 1999, the Armenian men's team, and in 2003, the women's team became champions of the European Chess Championship. In 2006, the men's team won the Chess Olympiad in Turin, repeated this success in 2008 in Dresden, and in 2011 won the World Team Chess Championship in Ningbo. Currently, the Armenian men's team is one of the strongest in the world, and Armenia's leading chess player, Levan Aronian, consistently ranks among the top 3 players in the world rankings of FIDE. If you want to experience the sensation of soaring like eagles over the plateau, then go to Armenia and experience the magnificent journey on the wings of Tatev. The cableway, listed in the Guinness Book of Records, is known as one of the longest aerial tramways in the world. Tatev wings offer breathtaking views of the picturesque landscapes of Armenia. The cableway is located in Armenia, stretching over the Vorotan River, lying beneath the depths of the mountain gorge. It connects the two villages of Halidzor and Tatev. In these settlements you can ride the cable car for free, but for visitors to cross the deep gorge in one direction, it costs €6. Tatev Wings is a swinging mountain funicular railway at 5.7 kilometers. It's a world record for such cable cars. The moving speed of a carriage designed for 25 people is 37 kilometers per hour, equivalent to 18.5 meters per second. Moreover, it was built the fastest in the world, taking only 10 months. Number 4. Armenian Genocide. As a hospitable and peace-loving people, it is sad to recall that the Armenian people once endured one of the most horrific genocides in human history. From 1915 to 1923, the Armenian Genocide was a tragic event that the Turkish government never wants to mention. During that period, in the name of ethnic cleansing by the Ottoman Empire, the Young Turk Army carried out a large-scale extermination of Christian believers. Millions of people, mostly women and children of Greek, Assyrian, and most of all Armenian descent, were captured and driven hundreds of miles across the Syrian desert without basic necessities. Turks were allowed to plunder, rape, and murder anyone in the refugee convoy, leaving long lines of corpses at camps and along the Euphrates River. Additionally, hundreds of thousands of healthy men were brutally exploited to death in forced labor camps, with living conditions akin to those for animals. According to estimates, between 500,000 and 1.5 million Armenians were killed in this recognized genocide. It only ended when the Ottoman Empire collapsed in 1923. In 1919, Ottoman officials responsible for the genocide were brought before an international court on charges against humanity. However, they were not convicted. Outraged Armenians carried out a revenge campaign, initiated by the Armenian Revolutionary Federation, conducting hunts and making many high-ranking officials and politicians of the Ottoman Empire pay the price. Number 3. Always thinking of war. There is something that everyone who has been to Armenia can feel. That is, the people here always have a sad or rather worried look, or more accurately, melancholy eyes. What makes the people of this country always look like that is that they are always worried about the outbreak of war. Armenia has faced many security and peace-related challenges in the past, especially in relations with neighboring countries such as Iran and Turkey. The situation in this region can be volatile and complex, leading to conflicts or wars. In recent years, Armenia has faced tensions and conflicts with Azerbaijan related to the Nagorno-Karabakh issue, an area that both Armenia and Azerbaijan claim as their own. Both sides have engaged in armed conflicts, and a peaceful resolution to this issue has not been fully achieved. Additionally, relations between Armenia and Turkey have also been tense in the past, mainly due to issues regarding historical developments and the situation in Nagorno-Karabakh. Armenians always say that they have never really felt at ease in their own country. Number 2. You are Armenian. It is very possible that your friend or even you yourself are of Armenian descent without even knowing it, because the Armenian people are a diaspora, and they are scattered all over the world. The total number of Armenians in the world is 10 to 12 million people, while the population of Armenia is only about 3 million people. After the 1915 genocide, nearly 500,000 Armenians lived scattered around the world, and the Armenian diaspora has grown significantly. Armenian refugees from Turkey settled in many cities in Eastern Europe, the Balkans, and the Middle East. Large Armenian communities are now present in the United States, Russia, Iran, Lebanon, Ukraine, France, Syria, Argentina, Jordan, Bulgaria, Brazil, Canada, Australia, and other countries. Until today, Armenians with Armenian citizenship are mostly not in the country. They often work in neighboring countries and only come home on holidays. So, when you come to Armenia, you mostly see the elderly and young children, while young adults and middle-aged people are working outside the borders. Nevertheless, returning home is not difficult. Their country is very small, and one trip is enough to take them home. Number 1. Pomegranate Paradise. One thing that will pique your curiosity when you visit Armenia is that pomegranates are sold everywhere, in supermarkets, traditional markets, or stores, all filled with pomegranates. The reason for that is only one: Armenia is the pomegranate paradise of the world. According to the folklore of this nation, this fruit contains 365 seeds, symbolizing each day of the year. Therefore, Armenians believe that eating this fruit will prevent anyone from dying of hunger in this region. Two types of pomegranates are grown. One type has red fruits, and the other type has yellow fruits. We can identify which pomegranates are ripe or unripe based on their color. Ripe pomegranates have outer skin in orange-red color. When picking pomegranates, one must be fast, but at the same time not squeeze the fruit too tightly. Usually outdoors, pomegranates cannot be preserved for long. Therefore, they must be quickly packed into wooden crates before storing. Pomegranates in these wooden crates are sorted by color. Only pomegranates that meet the standard are packed. Small and cracked fruits will be used to make wine. Red pomegranates usually have high value because they look attractive. However, they are more sour than the yellow ones. Additionally, yellow pomegranates are larger and heavier than red ones. It is said that peeling a pomegranate is also an art. First, the top of the pomegranate is cut off, then the fruit is sliced into 5 sections on the peel to prevent the pomegranate seeds from falling out. They are separated into a small dish and eaten slowly. Pomegranates are very good for health. Each pomegranate seed contains many vitamins, minerals, and other essential nutrients. For over 3,000 years, the people of Armenia have considered the pomegranate a fruit of paradise or a sacred fruit. It is one of the first fruits cultivated by humans on Earth. According to some scholars, the pomegranate is the forbidden fruit of Eden paradise. So, we have explored 15 wonders unique to Armenia. If you find the information we shared in this video interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to not miss out on our next videos.